Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Cult Classic Podcast.
Winter Olympics edition.
Winter? Okay, that was Superman. Okay.
What is that?
It's a score that's been done by John Williams before. I'm Cameron Jones with my co-host,
Mark Nussle.
Jordan Jones.
As you heard, we're our little prelude, and by the title, if you clicked on it, we're doing a little bit of a Winter Olympic stretch here for the next couple of weeks in celebration. We're kicking it off with a family favorite. Nope, we already did Cool Runnings.
Nope.
Thanks
for listening to Cool Runnings.
We're kicking it off with a little bit of a newer one, the 2016 film, Eddie the Eagle. Inspired by true events, Michael Eddie Edwards is an unlikely but courageous British ski jumper who never stopped believing in himself, even as an entire nation was counting him out. With the help of an unconventional coach, Eddie takes on the establishment and wins the hearts of sports fans around the world.
From the guy who brought you Rocket Man and Kingsman, starring Taron Egerton, Hugh Jackman, Joe Hartley, and Keith Allen, and a sneaky Christopher Walken.
This is a paint-by-the-numbers movie, sports movie. But you know what happens when you paint by the numbers? You get a picture you can see at the end, and it's pretty nice.
It's a real good
oh, look at that. It's a sports movie. I liked it.
Inspired by a dream come true.
If you listen to our episode of Cool Runnings, you'll know that this is another true story that has very little truth to it.
Like any good based on true story, you need to add 6 characters to make it a movie.
The most important thing in the Olympic Games is not the winning, but the taking part. The important thing in life is not the triumph, but the struggle.
Says losers.
The hysterical true life story of Britain's most famous ski jumper and his journey to Olympic fame.
If you thought, after watching Cool Runnings, that the 1988 Calgary Games couldn't possibly have another loosely based off true story, you were wrong. Just like the people that doubted Eddie the Eagle. I don't know an eagle.
Eddie the Eagle.
Alrighty, cast and crew. This movie was directed by Dexter Fletcher. He also directed the Elton John bio flick, Rocket Man.
It's seeming like a lot of company men working here together. We got the Kingsman workers.
He also did Kingsman.
It seems like if you work with Taron Egerton, then you maybe have worked with him on another film.
Yeah.
So nice. We like
Dexter
that.
Fletcher was a producer on Bohemian Rhapsody as well. I feel like you can kind of tell by the way the film is shot. Yeah. There's some Rocket Man in there. Music by Matthew Margeson. I really liked the score in this.
Well, I was about to say, I can't remember the score as much as it had a couple just good montage songs. It had like an okay.
Oh, it definitely had Hall & Oates, and I'll talk about that.
Yeah, well, there's a whole Hall & Oates section.
I was about to say, I can only really think of montage songs in this, but I can't think of the score as much.
This is Hall & Oates. Definitely the one which...
You make my dreams.
Which is like almost a joke montage, but we'll get to it.
This is borderline Hall & Oates, The Graduate, or Hall & Oates, the Harold and Maude. What did we listen to in that one? Who's that movie?
Cat
Stevens. We didn't get the wind, or we did get the wind. I don't know. It was a joy. Just for a timeline, this does predate. Kingsman predates Eddie the Eagle as far as the director-actor relationship.
Right.
And then they go on to Rocket Man.
Starring Taron Egerton. He plays Eddie the Eagle Edwards.
I mean, we've already brought up Rocket Man,
Kingsman.
Just for the record,
he does sing. Yeah.
Oh, does he?
Yeah, I don't know.
He sings all of Rocket Man. Like he does.
Oh, I guess that would make sense.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
So he's a good singer.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, he sounded like.
I like how that turned into he can sing. To like, oh wow, he can sing.
No, I think
he can.
I don't know if he's done musical theater. It seems like he could have. Sorry, I bumped my wires if you're listening at home, and I've got scolded with someone's eyes.
I thought his finger was wagging at me.
I'll get to that later, that he sings for himself, but I think that just based on the rules of getting nominated for an Oscar, Taron Egerton should have gotten nominated for playing Elton John. He did his own sing. Taron Egerton. Sounds pretty British.
Yeah, but it wasn't a great movie, but we'll get on to that.
The mom is played by Joe Hartley. The dad is played by Keith Allen. I wasn't too familiar with their works, but they're in some English, British TV stuff. And so Hugh Jackman is in the movie.
I mean, you know who Hugh Jackman is. I mean, X-Men, that shitty robot movie Reason, 10 years ago.
Greatest show on earth.
Jean Valjean, Les Mis. You know who he is.
Logan Wolverine.
That one's really good.
It's a good movie. Good actors.
Good actors.
Who else should I list?
I mean, there's a cameo with Christopher Walken. It's small, but...
the thing you got to do, a couple of mice fell in a
This one's unique. This is almost borderline
bucket of cream.
entirely whisper.
Yeah.
I don't know if he talks above a murmur in this movie.
I mean, that's pretty much
Cameron,
it
I
though,
need
for the
you to
cast.
try.
Well, the thing about Christopher Walken, no, I've never been a thing. Mine gets dubbed Christopher Walken. I turned into that somehow.
Yeah, Cameron did a Mike Tyson earlier for the first time, and it was great. It was spot on.
Oh, we're gonna
To compliment myself, it was like that one time I did Bane well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is really about it. Sort of a. I mean, there's
it's a
obviously
typecast.
more, but
Yeah, there's a lot of side characters, but none of them have really
This
too
is
much
practically
of an
a
impact.
two-man
show.
character
Yeah,
movie.
I
And for
agree.
all
this is kind of fun. It fits a little bit in cast, fits a little bit unverified, but the young Eddie and sort of teen Eddie are they're brothers. So
Yeah, I saw that. I mean, it's always good in casting with kids when you can actually get a family just to, make it a little closer.
Jack and Tom Costello.
Costellos.
Little kids.
Think about this, though. Say we did that, there's a 4-year difference. I'd be like, man, he got way shorter or whatever. We don't look alike. I'm not saying we're quite to twins level like Danny DeVito Arnold, but, we look differently.
It was a tight cast. Pretty tight cast in this one. Let's move on to Unverified. Welcome to Unverified and the Cult Classic Podcast Movie Phone. The date is January 26, 2016, and also in theaters at this time, you could have seen The Boy, that one with the creepy doll and the man living in the walls.
I don't even remember that.
I saw that in theaters. The Revenant with Leo.
Great actor.
Good movie. The Fifth Wave, based on a book series, alien stuff. I read the book after the movie. Dirty Grandpa with De Niro.
I had a lot of high hopes for that, actually.
Yeah.
I did. I don't know why.
Wait, why am I thinking of the Johnny Knoxville?
No, you're thinking
That's
Bad
Grandpa.
Different.
Okay.
Also,
But that's great.
Bad Santa.
That's good.
Bad Santa.
Finest Hour, the Chris Pine movie. Not a great movie, but Chris Pine deserves our respect.
That's like they work on an oil well.
No, that's the Mark Wahlberg one. This is where he works for the Coast Guard and he goes out in a storm in the 50s and saves a bunch of people.
Are we talking Perfect Storm?
I've never seen that.
You
but I
might like that,
that,
but you might not.
Is it Perfect Storm?
It only the opposite. Everyone comes back for the most part, I think. And finally, The Forest, that scary movie about the Japanese forest, suicide forest.
That's a movie?
Yeah. Well, actually, this is getting interesting because the later we get now in movie releases, there's so much more shit coming out. Granted, now it's all streaming, but
it's Netflix.
We're hitting a golden kind of portion here where I held off on 15 other movies that I kind of recognized. And I'm like, wow, there's a lot of things that were kind of going into theaters 10 years ago.
What you just read.
Remember theaters?
Yeah. Not even 10 years ago. This is 6 years ago.
What you just read, though, is just a roster of movies where you would say now, I'll wait till streaming.
Sure.
But there, you're like, I'll see it on a plane.
Yeah, which is, I saw most
That'll be on a plane. I'll definitely catch that on a plane.
I saw all these movies, honestly. Now, just real quick, once again, like the last one, Cool Runnings, I feel like we do have to mention this is loosely based on Eddie's life. He was quoted to say that about 90% of it is made up, but he still liked the film. He's in reality, Edwards. He wasn't training overseas. He was training in Salt Lake.
He trained in Lake Placid.
Yeah, in Lake Placid. So that was a little bit.
He didn't have one coach, which is depicted by
Hugh Jackman
in this movie, but he had 7 coaches that helped him. It was piecemeal, is what he did.
Well, yeah, he had a string of people that reluctantly kind of helped him but didn't want to and bailed. So, that aspect of Hugh Jackman is correct, but the character itself.
What I do want to say is, it looked by all of the counts that I saw on YouTube, Eddie is a little bit of a goof. A lot of bit of a goof and a goon. That's pretty all accurate. But
he looks like a dweeb.
he is. I think he is a dweeb. And I'll get into
pretty
some of that.
guy.
I do want to talk about that in questions, comments. And that'll be fun. But he was an Olympic level skier. It's not like he just did nothing. He almost made the Olympics in
He was like
1984.
a ski instructor. Did I read that? He was a ski instructor somewhere? Or
prior to joining the British team, he was the ski race team because he was trying to get on the ski race before, obviously, the jumping. He was a ski instructor in a resort in Colle di Tenda in Italy, it looks like. Yeah, so he was a ski instructor. So he has
fell right off your tongue.
Yeah.
It sounded supernatural.
Sure fell out of my mouth.
Gorlami.
It's Gorlami. But just going back to some of the fakeness of the movie and the stretch, he is quoted as saying as it was excruciating, painful, and difficult that the movie didn't portray. I was sleeping in a car, in cow sheds. I was in mental hospitals. I was scraping foods out of the bin, and the whole time thinking that the next jump could very well be my last. I could kill myself, and in some ways, the movie doesn't show how bad it really was.
Yeah, he didn't have to scrape food out of dumpsters.
A lot of ways, the movie doesn't show how bad it really was. But that'd be a great movie to see too. I would love to see that movie.
Well, at the heart of it, Eddie, Michael, if we're talking to you, and this is not calling you out, you're a goof. So we're going to play some...
you're a dweeb.
You're a little bit of a dweeb, so we're going to play a little Hall & Oates and get through it. Paint by numbers.
Also, kind of do our cool runnings questions before. He spent 20 months training before the Olympics. So going from just ski racing, he spent 20 months learning how to jump.
I'd say they depicted the timeline about right in the movie. He's like, I've been doing this for a year, so, you know.
I do have some sad news about Eddie. He is alive. But he filed for bankruptcy in 2014, right before the movie.
Hopefully, the movie helped.
And around the time of the movie, Around the time of the movie, he was doing stunt jumps over cars and buses for businesses.
So. Oh, I have that written down too. That's funny.
Yeah,
so. you can.
This is wildly unverified. Megan read that he was on the hit reality show Splash, where you dive. But I think it might be Britain's version. I'm not sure.
Honestly,
we watched the first season of that.
Yeah. There's only one season. It's great.
Drake Bell.
Rest in peace. Yeah. He took it way too seriously, and he wasn't good. I know, actually, he was pretty good, but he wasn't the best. And now he's got problems outside of diving. outside of diving. Non-diving related legal problems.
So you might be thinking this film reminds you of Cool Runnings. And funny enough, in 2014, Matthew Vaughn said he was watching the movie with his children.
Now, who's Matthew Vaughn?
The
writer
of the film.
And I saw his name pop up too. I just didn't know.
He might be the producer because I saw it pop up there too, but definitely writer. But he was watching Cool Runnings with his family and his kids in particular, and he was thinking, why doesn't anyone make another Olympic feel-good movie? And he did.
You'll be happy to know that along that line, this also takes place at the same Olympic Games that Cool Runnings did, the 1988 Calgary Games.
I was so surprised to know that.
They do make a small mention to it in this movie. Mm-hmm. Well, it's funny. We all just rewatched Cool Runnings for the podcast, and the costume design of the workers at the Calgary Games, that yellow jumpsuit, I'm like, that looks oddly familiar. I'm like, oh, yeah.
Just to tout some of his accomplishments, though, after the 88 Olympics, Eddie was asked in the 2010 Winnipeg to carry the torch.
Oh, good for him.
He didn't make the team, though, did he?
No. There is what was known...
He never qualified again after these Olympics.
There was known as the Eddie the Eagle rule, where the Olympic Committee specifically made it so that someone couldn't die on TV doing this, and they made it like... they raised the standard from like 61 to like 100 meters, and what you actually compete at so that someone wouldn't get seriously hurt.
They closed his loophole.
Yeah.
Essentially.
They immediately closed it.
It was a feel-good. He made it. He didn't die on live television. But we can't let that happen again.
So Eddie, I think with his two jumps, he scored a combined like 54 point something points, and the next second to last place was a dude from Canada, and he had like 110 points.
So he wasn't even close.
I think the Flying Finn, who won, had like 240 points. Like, okay, so like he was
I did watch their jumps. I did watch their jumps like a half an hour after I watched this movie.
Yeah, I did too.
It is a noticeable difference between Eddie and everyone else.
There's a video where it times it up at the same time, and he lands like
so much further.
Like just in half the time.
He's got a lot more wiggle in the air too. He's like, oh no, oh no, oh no.
Funny, this was the last. Did you guys notice sometimes they're doing the V, sometimes they're doing the straight?
Oh yeah, I read on that.
This was the last Olympics that they did the aerodynamics like skis forward, and then it was after this and the next one that they did the V. But there are some shots of a little bit of both, and I forget.
Honestly, before even reading that was the first thing I noticed. I'm like, wow, like they're keeping their skis straight.
Yeah. It was after this one that they switched that over for aerodynamics. Taron Egerton learned how to ski for this role, but most importantly, they taught him just the positions for like takeoff, like the ramp and landing, so at least it would look believable while he was, up, posing in the
forward, back, down, something like that.
This is a long fact, but I'm going to read it. This is straight from IMDb. This isn't my quote. The real-life Eddie the Eagle once recorded a song in Finnish entitled Mun nimen in Etu, which is, my name is Etu, which isn't even true. Even though Edward doesn't speak a word of Finnish, the movie features a Finnish ski jumper, blah, blah, blah. Let's skip ahead. Later, Edward...
Don't do the Finns dirty. Say his name. You've just been doing...
Mari Nauken.
His name's Matty. You didn't have to...
Well, they gave me the full name. The Flying Finn. Later, Edwards recorded yet another Finnish song, which was called Eden's Eden Silvela, which was on Eddie's wing.
You know, a lot of times it seems like
raise you up on Eddie's wing.
Is this something you know?
Is this a thing?
No. The last one I have, and did you guys notice this? That there were a lot of shots where it seemed it's closest to you, but it's in the actual Did you guys notice that there were a lot of shots of the mountain where it seemed like it was pretty sparse snow?
No, I didn't.
No, I did.
Most of the ramps and stuff, it seemed like you can see
I
like
noticed
the
on the
track.
ramps
Well, the
there
ramp
wasn't much snow.
That was actually a problem with shooting that just at the time there wasn't enough snow on the mountain, so they had to keep trekking it from further up in truckloads to try to at least get on the ramps. So that's why there's a lot of poking through threads and stuff. They just literally didn't have enough.
I know these exist, but did you notice on the ski hill it was just like carpet?
That's what I mean. Like that stuff is poking through, and I think they were trying to cover it a little more.
Well, you could have fooled me. I've not watched a lot of ski jumping.
Let's move it on to questions.
Comments.
Animosities.
Questions, comments, animosity.
Just a question to open it up. Did you guys ever have any aspirations to be like an Olympian or like train as a kid jokingly like Eddie?
Yeah. Not a Winter Olympic.
No, I've always been chubby.
Michael Phelps kind of like inspired me. Like
that was right around our time. Track and field when I was really young, but like not really.
I mean, I wanted to like be in the NBA as a kid. I knew I wouldn't.
Well, actually, you know what? That's where it got me. I was pretty confident as a 12-year-old that I was going to be in the X Games and a professional musician. So
I think 12-year-olds like compete in the X Games.
Oh yeah,
now, even back then.
Now they're the like gold medal competitors.
Oh, so this wasn't. This is the closest I have to that. It was like right after Tiger Woods won his first Masters, and like he was on Sports Illustrated or whatever.
Yeah.
I put on one of Dad's polos and like went out to the backyard and tried to hit golf balls, and I was awful. I'm like, well, I guess that's not gonna happen.
Just a comment. Eddie's dad at the beginning has a pretty questionable van. I kind of forgot that was his dad. I'm like, don't get in that van, Eddie.
Immediately, I thought that wasn't his dad, and that he was just trying to lure a child.
Yeah, that's what it really seemed like. If you haven't seen the movie
van.
very recently, well, if you have, you just know. I mean, just a comment. I wish I had a family trade. Wouldn't that be nice to know that there's a fallback that we could do some drywall, Jordan?
No, it doesn't sound like it was.
Or a farm. I don't know.
Did you have a dream, Dad? Yeah, I wanted to be a plasterer.
Well, I don't know if it's the dream. It's a fallback. It's a.
Was that? Did you think we were 100% gonna hear what his dream was later on?
What, his dad?
Yeah. It just never came up again.
I think
it was not plastering.
It was to watch the show Knockout and just be left alone.
I did think this. Going to the character of the dad, the one like, don't do this, Eddie, you're not good enough. Eddie was almost an Olympian, like in this movie, like twice. It's like, why hate him so much? Why hate on his dreams? Because it's not a pipe dream. Yes, we agree.
You're a sad little boy that doesn't know what he's doing.
Well, I have your answer, Jordan.
What's that?
It's the beginning of the movie when they're like, do you know what you've cost us? How much money we've poured into you, Eddie?
No.
That's where the anger is
That
coming
makes
from.
sense.
Yep,
I
yep,
get
yep.
that. I get
Junior,
that.
you sold your $20,000 car or like
I see a scared little boy who sold his fucking car.
Yeah,
I got you.
They have reasons to be angry.
Okay, callback question then. Eddie's not going to be a good plasterer.
No.
I don't even know if he can see out of his glasses.
Well, he's pretty short too, and I feel like you just, I don't know.
I don't know if being short has
Sorry, I'm a tall guy.
like.
This is just an honest question, but like, how did all these incredibly dangerous winter sports get started? Like skeleton, luge, bobsled. This
That's a
like
good question.
the jump, like because it was only more dangerous back in the day. So like,
I did
why?
think that, yeah. I don't know.
What's crazy is like the luge is crazy.
At least Summer
and then
Olympics
there's a
aren't
double
like
luge where
yeah.
you're just like, I'm in between your legs
It's
and
all
we're careening
super deadly.
downward.
Yeah. At least Summer Olympics, like there's nothing too death defying, really.
And then someone said, hey, why don't you get on your stomach
Hey, see that?
and go head first?
You see that cliff right there? Think you can land that?
What is crazy, though, is that this sport and all Olympic sports, they evolved to the point where how can the human body keep doing that? And I know that equipment gets a lot better in training, but
Shaun White's about to show us, Jordan.
I know. Did he make
Winter
it to the
Olympics
Olympics?
start.
I think this is the last one, yeah. Just a comment.
That's awesome.
I don't care how attractive you are. If I wake up and there's a stranger in my closet, house, basement, what have you, get out.
You're referring to Madame Rose Murda or whatever her character's name
When
is.
Granted, it seems like she's lonely and just trying to have sex with a young ski jumper, but I guess this is just from my point. I never want a squatter. Which is weird because we've had so many squatters live with us. Maybe that's where I'm coming from.
No, I thought to myself, Eddie really struck gold with this lady. She hooked him up. I'm guessing he's doing some work for her or whatever.
Yeah, bar back.
But I did think Eddie should have sex with her. I get the vibe he's a virgin.
Oh, I would assume so by just his milk drinking. Like, okay, just also comment about the sport. I'm like I would be worried about my knees, but he has like Forrest Gump braces on the beginning of the movie.
Yep.
And even like a quote from the real Eddie the Eagle is like, "Oh, I had terrible knees until I was like 10, 11." Like, how did he do that? Like, can I do it, Jordan? Are my knees better than I think?
No,
Okay.
they aren't.
Okay.
Well, I don't know how bad you think your knees are, but this
Ain't
just
good.
proves again and again. In this movie, Eddie wanted to be an Olympian, and he quickly gave up on the summer games. He's like, that is not going to
Well,
happen.
winter games, just skiing, downhill skis.
No, what I'm saying is, though, I think they showed him like pole vaulting, high jumping, trying stuff.
hurdles.
We can agree that Eddie is not an athletic person,
No.
but he, I do believe, is an elite athlete because obviously to get as good as he did at jumping, he's a savant level.
Or at least he's just like sturdy and hard to break.
Just crazy enough to do it.
Well, no, I'm saying
Determination.
I'm just saying he can. It's like when Homer's a boxer and he can just take a beating. I'm saying
exactly like
I'm
that.
saying his body can just really take an impact.
It is exactly like that, but he still lands the jumps.
Yeah,
like
his
I
body
don't
can
think
take an
that.
impact.
There's some balance there.
I'm just saying, like, I don't think he's a nobody, and it sounds like he was at
No.
least a decent skier. He is, though. I think the character a goon.
Yeah,
Just the biggest goon, and it's funny. I watched YouTube clips following this. I'm like, I got to see what this guy's like. And they made fun of him like we all would have as a goon. And I'm like, whoa, it's harsh, but everybody seems to be having fun with it because he could laugh at himself.
I mean that's good.
And the biggest message I want to take from this movie is if we stop bullying, we won't have these breakthrough can-do-it movies. We can't stop bullying goons. I mean,
No.
for every
You can't.
million Eddies that didn't make it, we got a movie out of this Eddie, so that's good, right?
That's why you're not seeing these type of movies past the '88 Calgary Olympics. Jordan.
Yeah, because you can't bully anymore.
Eddie the
That's
Eagle
sad.
rule. I love that in sports, typically in Olympics, we kind of come up with like cool
fun
nicknames
nickname,
for Eddie
Well,
the Eagle, the Flying Fin, the
only-
Torpedo,
Only if you're really great or terrible.
Sean White.
The Flying Tomato.
They call him the Flying Tomato, but that might be an X game. That might be from like his kid years when he was more. I mean, still a redhead, but you know what I mean.
If I was a little bit of animosity, if I'm Hugh Jackman and I'm washed up in something, I'm not going to hang around the sport. I'm not going to be.
Cameron,
I'm not going to.
obviously, he still loves it.
Yeah, I get it, but I'm like not gonna like if I'm a washed up golfer, I'm not gonna be your golf pro kind of thing. I'm gonna find something.
I'm doing what John Candy did. I'm going to Jamaica. Like,
Nah, I'm gonna do what Keanu Reeves did, and I'm gonna like get shit off the bottom of boats and the replacements.
What I'm actually confused of, I got a lot of questions about the Hugh Jackman character since he is made up. I think the other elite skiers would have known who he was.
I think they do though.
Do you think?
Yeah,
Oh,
because
I
they're
didn't
leading
get
up
the
to
vibe that
he's
they
a
were-
washed up alcoholic. They know who he is, I think. Well, no, because
No, I think they just thought he was an alcoholic.
Yeah, because actually he does say they don't know who you are, do they? Well, I guess maybe you're right.
They would.
They
Plus,
would.
it looks
though.
like at least unless we're having a quantum leap moment where the mirror is a different image, kept it pretty tight.
Well, Jordan
kept it real
Yeah,
tight.
he did. Well, Jordan, I think we all know that those little new Swiss or German jumpers were a bunch of little shit eaters. So, I mean, so they didn't. Of course,
Cake
they didn't
eaters,
know.
yeah.
Cake eater. I said what I said. Biggest animosity of the movie: Hugh Jackman when he's doing the 90-footer and he smokes a cigarette and he just throws it out immediately down the hill. I want you to ride that through the air. That cigarette, throw it off midair, Hugh Jackman. You took like a puff. Why even light it there?
that is a great scene.
it's
Cool
cool.
as a motherfucker.
It's real fucking cool.
I'm
But
going to contradict myself a little bit, though. There's some bad CGI in this movie.
oh, actually, that's my next note. There's a
falls.
lot of CGI.
too much.
All the falls, the bodies look a little fake.
Yeah, the falls are really
And
bad.
even actually, there's a lot of like GoPro-ish kind of cams close up on their faces, and that looks really bad too. And as you can tell, they're pasting their face maybe on like another ski jump or something because it just doesn't. A lot of things just
Animosity of the CGI.
don't. Yeah, agreed.
Specifically the falls. There was a couple jumps into the movie. I'm like, oh, this isn't too bad. And then the first fall, I'm like, what happened?
Well, it
We're in the
seems
same
like there
movie?
could be just footage, real footage to
Yeah.
use. I mean, granted, the practice would be a little harder, and I get why you have to CGI some of that, but like even some of the real jumps aren't real. Like the successful
No,
jumps.
Are
fake.
It's aged to where it probably looked fine in 2014. Now it hasn't. That's just the way it is.
Yeah, it's a little weird. I agree.
What do you think about how? And I like Hugh Jackman in some things. What do you think about his American accent? And this is nitpicking.
I don't
but
hate it.
I don't hate it.
It's that borderline. I'm almost a New Yorker,
Yeah, I get that. It's
and I get how you do it and why you do it. We'd all do
well,
it.
a lot of people they either go kind of that or they go
Or Southern?
accidentally Southern. Yeah,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
drift
yeah.
into that, but I don't know.
Okay, whatever. I don't think that
I think I could respond by saying, "Crikey, Jordan, maybe he's just throwing shit on the Barbie."
I
know?
gotcha. I get it, but you know what I mean. It's just that weird New York thing.
Actually, pretty big animosity. Pretty rude stealing your dad's work van. Like just Get a bus or something.
So when Eddie decides to follow his dream,
for 2 weeks.
He's like, I'm going to go train some more. I'm equally as impressed that at the age of 22, and I'm putting myself in the same scenario, he drove from England to Germany.
That's a different country.
That would seem like tough to me. I guess at 22, I was doing like national drives.
I was about to say, at 18, we were driving, I don't know, like Tennessee, South Carolina from Iowa.
Yeah, I suppose it's not the same.
But I mean,
retract my statement.
I will say this, though. He's doing it alone. We were at least like usually in a group and like road tripping.
In my head, though, going country to country is much
seems more
different.
daunting. Yeah. I have 2 throwaway comments here. Number 1, our mom should have believed in us more so we could have been Olympians.
Can I counter that before you go on?
Yeah.
I actually thought that based off this and a lot of other stories you hear, I think we had such a supportive family
that we could have been Olympians.
No, that no. If we needed a more negative family to be successful.
Okay,
Yeah.
We've been nothing but told you can do it, and we're like, sure we can, and then we never did. I think you need that animosity.
That's okay too.
Yeah, thanks, mom and dad.
You need to prove somebody wrong.
Yeah, we proved nobody wrong.
Nobody.
Unfortunately, nobody right. Like, we're not, like, the belief was nice. But no, I thought to myself in this movie, man, if Eddie would have just picked up a guitar, he would have looked like a goon, but he would have had tasty licks.
Oh, which actually leads me to the next one. Also, Mark, I think the band needs a washed-up coach, someone who failed and might make a couple mistakes along the way that we're going to have to help each other out. But in the end, we'll lift each other up.
We need Tom Hanks.
Oh, that'd be great, but I don't think that's
my favorite Tom Hanks role. Pre getting sober. I love drunk Jimmy Dugan. Okay, so as I like Hugh Jackman in a lot of stuff, and this is going to sound like nitpicks, and it is. I don't get the vibe that he drinks a lot.
Yeah.
Or smokes.
Well,
it seems like acting.
He's a high-functioning alcoholic.
No, I'm saying Hugh Jackman.
No, I get it.
Seems like he's in really good shape, and he doesn't. I don't
drink a lot.
Yeah,
and it shows in the scene where he's drunk, going like, "Oh, I love this sport," and he's going around. Woo! He's acting a little too like,
I don't buy it. I almost think he's straight edge.
He could be. I mean, you got to keep that.
And his smoking is acting smoking.
Yeah, pursed lips.
Best smoker. Okay, there's 2 great smokers in cinema in my mind. One is obviously
Humphrey Bogart.
Humphrey Bogart. It's as cool as it get. Then 2, sneaky Bill Murray. Watch Ghostbusters 1.
Oh yeah,
just let it dangle. It's
Ghostbusters.
fun.
They are smoking quite a bit, and it does really get me.
You could never smoke in your life, and the show Mad Men.
Oh, that's
yeah. I don't
pick up a.
I've never
bad
been a
habit.
smoker, but I watched that, and then like around the same time,
John Hamm looks pretty cool smoking.
Any war movie is going to get me.
I
too.
rewatched Band of Brothers.
Brothers.
I'm like, holy shit.
This is honest God question. So when Eddie gets, they get him drunk, he's hungover, and he's locked in the closet. Does he compete that same day, and is he hungover, or is that?
No, I think he just missed the opening.
Okay, because he's like, how much time do I have? So I wasn't sure if he was like before my event or if he was just talking about the opening ceremony.
I think
which also that's pretty shitty.
That actually made me mad.
Yeah,
I'm like, why be so mean? Why? I don't get this, right? He's already on the team. Here's my biggest
Why
question.
would anyone give a shit at that point? Like, who cares?
Well, it's not only this.
I'd be too caught up on my own thing.
I get it that England has their own class system or whatever,
Right.
and you may make fun of him within your group, but like, why would you be mean to him? He made it to the Olympics, you know? And on top of that, so many people...
Cool Runnings, you don't belong here, Jamaica.
I know.
I have another logistics actual question. So at the end, when Hugh Jackman sees him competing and he's like, he's going to do the 90, he's in Germany and he gets to Calgary like what seems like a couple hours later. Granted, he's make believe anyway. It's not real, but like he made it like a cross Atlantic flight in like 6 hours, got it all set up, got over there.
Eddie competes. Later that night, he does a press conference and says, I'm going to compete in the 90. And then that
next morning, Hugh Jackman's
there. He's like, you did it, bud.
And I left my jacket at home. I'm always going to be talking about why he never has a coat on the mountain. I get it. The snow is fake. They bring it up. It's not always.
It's his.
He does not a jacket. He wears a button-up shirt
true.
most of the time.
It's Jack Daniels. That's my jacket. You guys love the score. You love the soundtrack.
I liked the score.
Okay, you liked the soundtrack. You loved it. What are we doing here?
Mark remembered it. I
don't remember the score as much as the soundtrack.
Remember the Titans.
I remember the
but
soundtrack.
It's no October Sky.
No, it's none of those. I think that even though the song...
It did have Hall notes, though.
That's what I want to get to. I love it for the montage. We're all having fun. Mm-hmm. But it's not Hall & Oates. After he makes his big landing, they have a moment that they miss where they could have a great score.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then they go to might as well jump.
Yeah.
I'm like, what the fuck are we doing?
Having fun, Jordan.
God, I don't think I've sworn on this podcast for a while, but that made me do it. It's like,
We'll get to Hall & Oates. The biggest animosity I have is I think the movie is too cute. Like you're saying, instead of it to go to a Hall & Oates montage scene, which is fine. There's movies, there's time and place for that. But I would have liked a triumphant score. I don't know.
I agree. I wish it would have been taken a little more seriously. I wish it would have been more realistic and just followed his struggle because it's an incredible story, the real story.
I'm fine with.
Did you guys like Rocketman? I don't know if I like this director all that much.
Yeah, I mean, Rocketman's silly. It's silly, but I do like it.
Oh, I do want to get to that.
You like Elton John. You like his music.
Sorry, I thought we were talking. Okay, you kept saying Rocketman. I keep thinking.
You're thinking that Disney movie
where he fucking farts in the.
Yeah, that's what I've been thinking half the time you say it.
That might be called Rocketman.
It is called Rocketman.
Okay, yeah. No, we're talking about the Elton John.
Yeah, that's not as good to me.
Biopic.
But again, this is a popcorn movie that you're not doing. This isn't something you're walking away going like, oh wow, this is a thinker.
This isn't winning Oscars. You're right. Popcorn.
What's nice about this movie is not the genericness, that it is loosely based on a real person, and that is an inspirational story.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Don't give up on your dreams, and at 22, you realize you should have been a plasterer.
So we talked a little bit in the Cool Runnings episode about what sport we think we could like qualify in, and it just was curling.
I'll reiterate, it's
turns
curling.
out Eddie just proved us all wrong there.
No, I'm glad. I thought about this as I was watching it, and I knew it would come up. Eddie, this real guy, Michael Edwards.
Yep.
Michael Edwards was good at skiing. We're not good at skiing. We're not almost on the British ski team.
That's true, Mark. We have to get back into skateboarding and try for the X Games.
Yeah.
No,
we'll be 3 times older than the gold medalist currently, but fuck it.
I'll say it again. It's curling. Taron Egerton, I think, is an underrated actor.
Mm-hmm.
He's not in the best movies. Like, this one's paying by numbers. I really do like Kingsman.
Yeah, I can't remember the second one, but I really like the first one.
The second one's a little worse. But I just think that he's on the cusp. And this isn't our category. He's not underrated because he's been in a lot of, like...
He's on our radar, but I still think there's going to be a breakout role where the rest of the world's like, he's a household name.
He might not, though. Like, maybe he just won't. I don't know what it would be. But... I think he did really good, even though like the movie's not the best. That Elton John one, he did all the singing and dancing.
Yeah, I guess that was the big mainstream one where he did get on everyone's radar. But I still think he's a talent bigger than that.
I don't know if he'll ever get it though. It kind of seems like, and I'll go into maybe my.
How old is he? What's crazy is like his IMDb. It's got to
be around
his
our
first
age.
movie is like 2012. So like he wasn't a kid actor. He just kind of popped onto the scene.
Yeah,
he was a young adult actor. I think he started getting into movies in like his early 20s. He's probably like your guys' age now.
So I think he's
maybe
right
a couple
around
years younger.
Yeah.
Let's move it on to recasting. Recasting. This week it seems like I went a little further. Again, it's a tight one. But let's start with that Christopher.
Don't act like you.
Did you see that subtle shade?
Usually,
that was a microaggression, Cameron.
I honestly wasn't meant to be. Usually,
I went a little further. I went
a little further, per usual. Again, you might have done it last week. What did we even do last week? I don't remember.
Well, yeah.
Hey,
you had a good Sanka.
I'm gonna defend Mark. He's normally the deepest. He might even do the understudies in the movie. Like
that's why I'm saying. Usually, I don't.
I do.
Usually,
he's right.
I don't do this, but I'm going to go first because I had 2 extra. The Christopher Walken one. The first.
I got that guy. You mean the coach?
Yeah,
Hands up! I didn't do Christopher.
That's fine. Well, it's a cameo. Like that's why it's such a small thing. Well, I heard everyone say like it was a person that just needed gravitas and to walk in a room. So initially I thought Bill Nighy, but I'm like shit, needs to be American. I did Harrison Ford. He always talks in a whisper now,
I like that.
And everything is intense now.
I like that.
With most of our recasting, that's like in a better version of the movie.
Yeah,
not this shitty version. Sorry, this version. This paint by numbers. Oh, it's a schooner.
He always talks intense and in whispers now in his older age and in disappointment. So I feel like that's pretty easy for him.
He would hold the weight of
this movie. Just needs a little Christopher Nolan, if you know what I mean. I don't know. It just needs some
not
darkness.
Too much because we still need a plot. Well, we need I don't need to be like, what is it? The Calgary games? It's like it was at the beginning of the movie. Like not too much Nolan, just a little more,
just a sprinkle.
Okay, so I went John Voight because this is him in another version of the movie.
Yeah, they look very similar in their older age now.
Well,
too.
John Voight plays this type of character all the time.
John Voight,
Anaconda.
Yeah, that one.
National Treasure, right?
Yep. I said Anaconda. Mark.
You can go back to as recently. We've done
Anaconda.
surprisingly maybe 2 to 3 movies with John Voight
we've
in
done
it.
a few.
You can go back to our 4 Christmases.
I like John Voight.
The other random one I did was Jeanette, the German housekeeper at the ski resort.
You wanted to say something else.
Jeanette?
Yeah, I think you were thinking...
Janet?
No.
Let's keep doing this for some more.
So,
I kept it. Jeanette, I did Megan Mullally. She's from Will and Grace. She's Grace. No, she's not. She's their best friend. She's the brunette.
she Hall or she Oates?
You tell me.
Helen Bodden Carter. You might know her as Bellatrix Lestrange.
Oh.
In every other
Tim Burton.
Tim
Is
Burton
that how you
movie.
say that? Bellatrix Lestrange?
Oh, it might be Lestrange. Whatever Jim Dale says is the right way.
Yeah, I don't hate it. What about the dad? Eddie's dad. Who'd you guys do?
I'll start because mine sucks. Bob Hoskins.
Oh, I did Bob Hoskins too.
Oh,
Really?
What'd you do?
I did. Well, you
Bob
kind
Hoskins?
of almost ruined it, but I did Bill Nighy.
Oh, really?
I like that.
See, I thought about putting him there, but for some reason, I put this gravitas on him that I don't think everyone does. So when
Bill
Christopher,
Nighy?
The dad's kind of funny in this movie.
yeah,
so
that makes more sense. But for some reason, when I think Bill Nighy, I think stoic sometimes.
Yeah.
He does both. He does play
Yeah, I
stoic,
know.
and
He
he
does
does
both well,
play.
yeah.
It's whichever you want. He can do both. He can't do a mixture. It's all silly or all stoic, though, and I love him.
I like both versions, though.
Well, at least that's how I've seen him. Actually,
Bob Hoskins. I like that you guys both were on the same wavelength.
I
there.
just thought gruff British guy that kind of looked like the dad.
That might be the right one, but I actually do try to recast him.
He was like a younger dad. Like I could have seen like this is an American actor, but Jason Sudeikis, like with a mustache.
That's the fun
like
of it,
that.
though. We're not
more looks based. I
That's
guess
the fun of it with the casting, though. Already they weren't sticking to like you didn't have to be of said country to be playing that part as much as some other movies.
Oh, well,
Hugh
are you
Jackman,
just saying
American.
that because Hugh Jackman?
We didn't have to do necessarily country appropriate casting just because they didn't.
Well, you don't.
I try
you don't
to.
have
Sometimes
do
Yeah,
that.
me too. but
Sometimes I wonder if you guys like do like have that same thought process.
Sometimes.
If you go back and listen, I just do a pretty similar to this is who I'm casting.
Let's move on to the mom. Funny enough, I'm keeping it in the Shaun of the Dead world. I'm doing Penelope. I'm doing Penelope Wilton. She's the mom from Shaun of the Dead.
Miles away.
Miles away, hon.
Oh, I love that. Actually, I love that.
I thought of that for sure, but I thought it may cut off. So I did. I guess she's a better, or at least a more accomplished actress.
Mm-hmm.
But I did Olivia Colman. She's in The Crown. I'll show you a picture.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
that
she'd
works
just
for
be
me.
a
That's
perfect
great.
mom. She would play this role time
is
and
she
time
in,
again.
There's a Netflix movie called The Lost Daughter.
She's in The Favorite, The Crown, The Lost Daughter from 2021.
There it is.
The Father.
I've been
Band
curious
Church,
about
Fleabag.
watching that
Yeah.
movie, but-
Anyway, she's good. She's in Hot Fuzz. She's the
That's where I know her.
naughty.
Okay, that's right. I knew it
Okay,
from.
yeah.
I like that. Yeah, I actually like that a lot.
Thank you.
Everyone did the mom.
I
No, Mark, we haven't heard.
I did maybe my favorite movie mom,
Oh.
Mary Steenburgen.
Oh yeah, I mean, you can't be wrong with that one.
Can't be wrong
British?
with her.
No. Does better? No.
There's no way that Mary
I'd
Steenburgen
kind of
does a
like
good
watch
Oh
British
no,
accent.
something tells me it's still gonna be in her kind of voice, but that's fine.
Wow, cameras 2 for 2. Mike Tyson and the Steenburgen bringing it hot today. That wasn't too bad. Like, would I
That was
know
not
from the
bad.
moment that it was going to be her? No, but now that we're talking about it, that
Thanks,
was not
everybody.
bad at all.
Oh my god!
Bravo.
thank you.
That was
Who are we
Wow.
on to? I think we're on to Perry here. I kind of don't hate mine. And I think it actually came up a second ago, but James Marsden. He's around the same age, kind of same look. He's Cyclops from X-Men. He was also in Westworld. He's the brother
that the
in
character
Sex
from-
Drive, where he's like, no, you're
You're
golden.
going to know it from Hairspray.
He kind of does funny roles. He was on 30 Rock too as Liz's boyfriend.
He's another one of those guys that, one, he's like super handsome.
Yeah, but he's honestly
But he
kind of
ne-
comedic.
No, he's more of a character actor.
Yeah.
Like, he never broke as a leading man, which is weird.
Yeah.
I don't even know if he got the option. Like, Notebook, he's the other guy. Like, he's always the other
guy, yeah.
Yeah.
Always the bridesmaid, never the bride.
I mean,
right?
Exactly. He might be in that movie, 27 Dresses. I can't even remember, but I'm pretty sure
I
he
mean,
is.
kind of in Westworld, he at least had a chance to.
No, but he's playing the other guy even within that story. He's
kind of,
like,
but he is a good actor and kind of funny. So
no, he is. I think he's more funny than anything.
Yeah, agreed.
Right? He just happens to be.
not that bad. Not that bad.
No, I think that's fine, especially because he has some. It's weird.
Hugh
Hugh Jackman's like the leading version of him, even
Yeah.
though they seem to be similar.
Yeah, right. Huh?
Well, I'm going to
Thank you.
up that to a better version of it. It's Bradley Cooper. role he'd be great at. One,
I did Bradley Cooper too, and I think he could probably just smoke a cigarette better than Hugh Jackman.
That's for sure.
There's no probably.
That's for
and
sure.
we've also, if we have or haven't seen A Star Born, he can play an alcoholic, like a real alcoholic. Now,
Right.
Whatever the fuck
He can
Hugh
throw a couple
Jackman's
back.
Yeah, I'm just saying that's a way better.
I had
version.
this as another maybe, and I try to use them all the time. But could you let John Hamm in this movie?
Of course we could, Cameron. But here's the problem with John Hamm.
Sure, always is.
There's no problem with John Hamm.
Always is, Mark.
Karate.
That's what I try to say.
He's funny, and he's Don Draper.
But doesn't he look like he could have been an Olympian in this one at least? Give me that.
Yeah, he would have been in the darker. You know when a movie's dark,
He's in the
not in
sprinkle
tones, but literally
Okay.
the you know what I mean.
I got you.
But here's what I'm saying: it's tough to see John Hamm in a lot of things because I haven't seen him in a lot of things.
I get that. Should we move on to Eddie?
Yeah, I'll go first because mine's super uninspired.
Yeah.
I did Tom Holland.
Okay.
I did a similar body size,
I hate it.
British.
I hate it.
All right, I agree.
That was
fun. So I did too. I'll give you who I almost.
That
did
was
at
my
the
first
end.
choice, honestly, and I did Tom Holland, but then I came up with someone better.
Was it? Can I ask you who it was?
Yeah, it was Nicholas Hoult. He's from Warm Bodies. He was also Beast in X-Men.
Oh, I like that guy.
Right? Yeah, he's likable.
Forgot about that movie.
He's a little more likable. I just watched it. It's on HBO or something right
He was
now.
like a 4 to 5 year tear, and now he's like doing TV and stuff.
Yeah, he was killing it. That's why I'm saying he could have done
He's
this
on
really
Hot
well.
Street.
Because he also plays that kind of goofy, uncoordinated well. He plays the unlikable goofball.
But not a goon. There is like a
Sorry,
quality
likable
that,
goofball.
Yeah.
We're saying dweeb.
Oh, also though, I did write down Josh Hutcherson.
We're doing a body type. We're just doing small guys.
I don't want to see that movie, but I could see him in the movie.
You just want to see him with his shirt off.
I'll save you to the one that I thought was perfect for this in case Mark says it, and I want.
Yeah, Mark, really quick. Let's stop beating around the bush here.
Yeah, I just did. I did the same for young and old.
I
Eddie.
didn't do it young.
I did Jonathan Lipnicki.
Okay, I got so much. He's that kid you hate from the '90s with the spiked
Stuart
hair.
Little.
Yeah.
I do hate that guy.
Yeah.
But that's
Little
good
bastard,
because
yeah.
I do think Eddie the Eagle's hateable. Come on. What do you guys think about Night? Because I think this guy in real life has some awkward body language tendencies. What about Daniel Radcliffe?
I literally have him written here
Why
too.
didn't
Daniel
any of us
Radcliffe.
save him?
Oh, yeah.
It might have been. He might have actually been really good at it.
I actually do like that.
Damn it! I
I
should have
think
just
I
said
want him
Daniel
in the
Radcliffe.
more serious version.
I
Yeah,
do
again,
too.
it'd be a serious
We
movie.
all want the more serious version.
We did.
Daniel
Little bit.
Radcliffe with some Bradley Cooper. We got a better movie.
We got a better movie.
Let us know what you guys think out there, but I think we just made ourselves a masterpiece. Let's move on to Mount Rushmore.
Can you do Steenbergen once again?
Yeah, give
Give me something to say. You guys can't. No, I lost it. I lost it.
That's borderline.
Mount Rushmore top 4. Welcome to Mount Rushmore, top 4. If you just heard the intro there, but Jordan won rock, paper, scissors this week. This week we're doing our favorite sports movies with more obscure sports. So we're trying to take out football, baseball, basketball, and kind of leaning away from
Hockey.
boxing, but we'll see.
Hockey can be on the table, but I think boxing we should all
hockey's
leave
off
up
the
to.
table.
Hockey's off
If
the
you
table.
Judging by the argument we're having, I think we left these off anyway. So moving forward, it's going to be weirder than that.
Okay.
Yeah, we're doing more obscure.
Jordan won rock, paper, scissors. He's going first this week. What's your number 1?
My number
I'm
1
jealous.
is a movie you may have heard me talk about
A lot
on this podcast. It's 2000-something Seabiscuit.
I thought that'd be your choice.
Beautiful set design, beautiful costumes, beautiful score and lighting. Ho-hum stories. Goddamn, is it not
Come on,
worth
it's
a
got
2.5
Toby.
hour watch? And I did actually just hear this on SNL last night. The horse that played Seabiscuit in the movie just died at the age of 24.
Oh, that's
So in honor of that, maybe there's better options. I'm going
Dooley's dead.
Seabiscuit.
Seabiscuit. Just out of curiosity. Well, actually, Mark, never mind. Sorry, we don't want to ruin that. I was going to say, name some other horse movies off the top of my head. But
Secretariat.
hey, we got people to go. Okay, so up next. This is a little unconventional because it's not really a sport, but funny enough, after I wrote it on my list for my number 1, I saw it on other lists. So therefore, I saw it on other lists. So therefore, it's fine. Rounders. It's told like a sports movie.
Hold on.
Oh.
I took it off my big board.
Rounders is a sports movie. It's told as one. The action is displayed as it.
No, Rounders is borderline
Rounders-
a heist movie.
Fine.
It's sports movie.
almost
Then I'm-
noir.
Yeah, I disagree. Like,
Fine. We're taking
boo
off
this
the,
man.
He can't
Boo.
do 2. He can't do 2.
No, well, I like that.
Are you going to allow him to?
Here's what I like: that you just disregarded the rules and you
Yeah.
I think
he
it
did
counts.
this on
It
purpose.
counts. Do you know why it counts? Because List on the internet agreed with me.
Okay, do you know why it doesn't count?
I did see it come up a
See?
lot. But poker's not a sport.
It is if they were in a real, but this is the underbelly, seedy side of poker. This is not a real competition.
Let him rebuttal. I want to hear what he has to say.
It's told like a sports story. The movie is depicted in a sports fashion, and also poker has gotten into like into this kind of shit
in
now.
the way that has a final showdown,
Has
yes,
it?
and I know that it's a real competition, but Rounders isn't that.
Fine, then I'm going.
Anyway, but go back and listen to our Rounders episodes. You'll hear us not compared to any sport, but it is a great movie.
Great movie.
One
Fine.
of my favorite movies.
I love that movie.
Screw you all. I'm going.
I stick it
I'm
in
going
you.
Rush. That movie with
That's
the
good.
racing movie from a couple
That's good.
years ago with
Formula One?
Hemsworth.
Formula One.
Yeah.
Liam Hemsworth, Ron Howard directed.
Yeah,
Possibly.
it's a really good movie. Yeah.
Good movie.
It is a good movie. I'm not going to disagree with that. Go back and watch it if you got the time, and if you're listening to our podcast, you probably fucking do. So, just
Mark,
watch the movie.
Who'd you have as
All
yours?
right, Cameron wants to be all cute.
That was a little too cute, but listen, Rounders is good, but it's not.
It's a sports movie.
I'm
I
going to
like
go cute
to try.
too. I'm going to bring it on.
Oh.
All right. all
Okay,
right.
I like
that.
it.
That makes more sense. That's a real competition movie.
That's a competition.
That's a competition.
That's a competition. Okay, I like that.
Go and bring it on.
Which one?
One.
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't mean to put words in your mouth.
Dunst.
No one.
Bring
no,
it on two, back in the habit.
No one thought
that's
Stick
Sister
It.
Act two.
That is a little bit more of a competition.
Shout out to Stick It and our fan Lexi and Tysa.
Just to get a little more obscure sports in there, I did think Alley Cat Strike, the Disney made-for-TV movie
damn.
Bowling.
We got a bowling
It's a
movie.
bowling
There are
movie.
a lot of good
Disney-
Disney sports movies.
Miracle in Lane, whatever, with Frankie Muniz.
I got to go Brink then from them.
Oh,
Brink.
hell yeah.
Brink's my OG. one.
Motocrossed.
Johnny Tsunami, man. That covered
Johnny
a couple
Tsunami,
different
I mean,
sports.
What's our basketball
Luck of the
one? The
Irish.
Is that the Luck
Double
of the Irish
Trouble.
one?
The Irish.
Oh,
Okay.
well,
double.
they have a few basketball ones, my friend.
Well, Luck of the Irish is
He's
the one I
wagging his
know.
finger at me again, isn't he?
I'm a shusher.
Good honorable mentions that I didn't say. I'm not going to say boxing because I think it's like a category of its own, and we could, and I'm sure we have.
We can get there, though, with this.
Jordan, I want to quiz you real quick.
Go ahead.
Name 3 golf movies that I'm thinking of right now.
Okay, obviously we're gonna put Tin Cup on there.
Sure.
Obviously we're gonna put Legend of Bagger Vance.
Okay.
Obviously we're gonna put Greatest Game Ever Played.
Oh, damn.
Uh-oh.
Happy
Keep
Gilmore.
going.
Happy Gilmore.
There's 4.
I know, and there's actually
Forgot
one
about
more with like,
Caddyshack.
there's two. Golf is such an underrated
Sports movie.
If it wasn't for Seabiscuit and that I have to bring it up, I could have easily gone any of those golf movies.
Yeah.
I mean, Caddyshack and Happy Gilmore just alone.
If you want to get weird and make believe, basketball, and we can get some maybe some
basketball.
dodgeball. I mean, there are some ones that are kind of.
Yeah,
Clearly obscure.
I mean, what's so great is
Invictus. We've got rugby in there.
Oh yeah, I thought she'd never seen
so
that.
There's,
Me either.
There's 2 ones that I'm sure these are great if I ever see them. Invictus
Bend him
and
like Beckham.
No, Foxcatcher and Foxcatcher Wrestling and Invictus. I've seen Bend It Like Beckham.
A couple
My mom's
times.
Denise Jones.
The Big Green,
I hate the Big Green.
because you want it to be the Little Giant.
Exactly.
Oh,
and I know it's out there, and that's it. That's as simple as that.
Kicking and Screaming with Will Ferrell.
That's actually not too bad.
This is actually one that was on a lot of lists. Has many sequels, but if we want to get into fighting, Karate Kid.
Ooh, that would have been great. That would have been
Karate
fun.
Kid, I did see that on the list.
It was on a lot of lists.
That is a competition.
There are a
especially
couple
one.
of billiards pool movies out there.
Oh yeah.
yeah.
What's the big one with
Tom Cruise.
no, with Paul Newman,
Oh.
the Hustler, right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm. And then Tom Cruise has another one, but I can't.
I can't think what it's called. Warrior, that ultimate fighting movie with Tom
Ooh,
Hardy and
that's a
that
good
other guy.
one,
That's
man.
a really good inspirational movie. At the end when he's tapping, that's gonna get a tear out of me when the brothers.
So-
oh, God.
To point out what everything we felt was wrong with this movie, like it was too generic and a little too cute, even though I still liked it, it gave me the feelings I wanted. Warrior's just dark enough where like, oh, that's good.
100%.
It's pulling at the strings. I don't think that's based off a true story, but I quite enjoy it.
I think
Say
it
your little
very
tears
loosely
as much
is.
as anyone is.
Yeah.
About boxing being its kind of own category. I liked that because
There's too many big movies with it. You know what I mean? You want
The
to see
sport
it, yeah.
itself isn't,
too-
but there's just so many good boxing
yeah.
movies. We
Yeah.
couldn't throw it in the ring.
And kind of the same with
this
hockey
one.
and just our movies up to
Yeah.
come. We didn't want to.
and
I do want to make one more shout out. Just the racing movie scene. If you've not seen Ford versus Ferrari, it is a glossy,
really good.
movie.
So good.
What's interesting about these racing movies is you could think, oh, they're just like action movies or driving a lot, but there's so much character development involved in them.
Yeah.
that would surprise me. That surprised me.
name a cute boxing movie.
A cute one.
There really isn't one.
Team Wolf
No.
2.
Okay, well, Cameron's like, just start.
I've never seen it. I just know it exists, and I've seen clips.
I know Cameron's favorite boxing movie, to go off on a
Cinderella
little
Man.
Cinderella Man. And if you like that, try Seabiscuit. It's not that bad.
So that was our take on obscure sports. Let us know if there's some good movies we're missing out there. And thanks for listening to our take on Eddie the Eagle. If you like what you heard, make sure you like and subscribe on your favorite podcast app. You can find us on social media at Cult Classics Pod, and you can write in your movie request to cultclassicspod@gmail.com.